Greetings, everyone. This is Pamela Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders Without podcast. Today, I have another incredibly special guest for you, my new good friend, Elvira. She's also in Toronto, Italian. And, I have a deep connection with Italians. We have an Italian in the family, and my heart is half Italian as well. So I have a lot of connection with Italy and all that. And we connected again to an incredible community a couple of weeks ago. We had a wonderful chat last week. Elvira is a wonderful lady. She's gonna say all that she does herself, but in a nutshell, what she does, she works with highly successful people, especially men, and help them find what is the true deep passion. They may be successful in their careers and businesses, but deep down they may not be that fulfilled. So she helps them not only find what that is, but also help them uncover and let that give them the courage to pursue that so that they can be fulfilled at the highest level, at the soul level. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about. She's an absolute amazing, wonderful lady with a beautiful vision and a true heart, a true leader with a heart. So Elvira, my friend, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Payman, for inviting me. I'm honored to be here.
Pleasure's all mine. So you just did something absolutely wonderful before we went live. And about your tagline, I did not mention on purpose because I don't want to butcher it. So it's I will let you say your tagline for us. It's going to be a world premiere.
Okay. Well, it's actually not. I've done it before. Sorry, I can't give you that. But I was honored when you asked me what my tagline was, because I worked with a wonderful coach out in Portland, Oregon. Her name is Jaya Rose. A shout out to her. She's fabulous. I've worked with some amazing coaches and mentors over the years. And Jaya said, Elvira, you have to have a tagline that you say at the end of all your videos so people know what it is that you do. So we channeled this great tagline and I felt really good about it. It felt very aligned. And part of my story is that I lived out of alignment for many years, not being fully self-expressed, but I had to have a blessed breakdown at the end of my corporate career to leave to become my authentic self. And my authentic self is I'm an artist. I'm also a healer and a coach. And as a result, I became a professional jazz singer at the age of 51. So I've worked on world-class jazz stages with Juno Award-winning artists. That's like the Grammys here in Canada. And I also have performed for, Oprah Winfrey's man, Stedman Graham. If you Google our names, you can see the video on YouTube. And the mayor of my city invited me to sing at her party her private 60th birthday party last year. And I don't share this to brag. I share it because I talk about when there's something in you, it's in you for a reason. And you have to become the person that allows that thing to come out of you. You have to get out of your own effing way, as I like to say. Fear and ego. Okay. So anyway, that a morning after one of my jazz shows, I was feeling very jazzy. And I said, I have this great tagline, but hey, I'm going to sing my tagline because I'm a singer. So this is what came out of me that morning. All right. You ready?
Absolutely.
Everyone ready? Okay. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Get out of your own effing way. Your miracle life awaits. Yeah.
Woohoo!
Jazz hands.
It was definitely a world premiere in this podcast. So wow, I appreciate that. Maybe we might do a longer version next time, Part 2.
No, that's all I got. That's all I got. I mean, you can buy my album if you like, but anyway.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Send me the link. I'll post it in the show notes.
Amazing. Oh, it's so great to be here. Thank you so much for asking me to do that.
Pleasure's all mine. I love, this. I love the way this is starting at a beautiful note. So this is, there's an expression in Italian says, se il buongiorno si vede dal mattino. So if everything, you see,
yes.
How could you translate it in English? It would be,
yes.
Good day is you see how the day is going to look like from early morning. So meaning
that's right.
Oh,
I love it. I love that you know that saying. That is so cool. Oh my God.
Of course, Italy is here, half Italian.
I love it. Oh.
So wow, wonderful. So listen, for people who don't know you, even though you gave us a pretty good description of all of that just before that, but at a personal level, Elvira, who's Elvira? Tell us.
Wow. I've never been asked that before. On a personal level, who is Elvira?
Because before you
Wow.
answer, sorry, before you answer, one
Yes.
thing that I want to, and I told you last time, is that sure, we're going to talk about your amazing professional achievement, but this podcast is all about looking under
Mhm.
the hood to see what's in your heart, to get to know you as a
Yeah.
person, to have a heart-to-heart conversation. So that's why I'm starting with this
Yeah.
first. Let's get to find out who's Elvira first at the personal level. Then we're going to talk about your amazing achievement as a
Mm.
professional and a businesswoman.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you know what? What's coming to me is I am like a walking, talking heart. I am all heart. This is who I truly am. I am a sensitive artist. I call myself a fierce badass because I've been through some tough times and I've gotten through them. And if things don't kill you, they make you stronger, right? So, but at my core, I'm a heart and soulful person, right? That's actually the name of my first jazz band, Heart and Soul. And I really believe that, we're all here to serve the world with our own unique gifts. And, my tribe, my people are people that are heart centered and they're here to help the world evolve. We're here to help the world be a better place through our struggles, through our, it's okay to say some nasty words. Can I say yeah?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Through our shit shows, we get out of that. And then we
Wait,
are
was that
able to,
nasty?
yeah.
Where was the nastiness? Where is the nastiness?
Okay, good. I'm glad
Where
you
is the
see it that way.
nastiness?
I love that. Yeah, through our shit shows, we are able to leave that behind, and then we have wisdom to share. One of my dear mentors, A.G. Morishita, shout out to him. He talks about, the world is drowning in information. Like you can go on the internet and get any information about anything, right? Any YouTube video, anything at all. But it's dying of thirst for wisdom. And I believe wisdom is what comes out of people's stories. When they've been to the dark places, when they have left those behind, they have a story, a message, and magic to share with the world. And that's who my people are. These are people that are heart-centered. They're here to help the world evolve, to do their inner work. And they're here to share their own story, their own message, and their own magic. Like it's on a foundation of my story, message, and magic, but their story, message, and magic is wisdom as well. So I really feel that, I am all about helping the world to connect to their heart and soul, live from that truth. In fact, here's my global vision, if I can just share it with you.
Absolutely.
My vision for the world is a world where we're all living aligned with our higher self, our higher power, our higher purpose, right? We're aligned. We're living authentically. We're not hiding anything. We're being who we truly are. We're taking off the ego mask. We're living from the truth of our heart and soul, not the lies of our ego. And we're living fully self-expressed. As a little girl, I was told I could not be a singer, that those women on stages singing were sluts. So I was shut down. I wasn't allowed to be me. I became something my parents needed me to be so they would approve of me and love me. So I learned what it was like to live out of alignment, to not be fully self-expressed. And I struggled, mental health, physical health, marital health, everything was crap because I lived out of alignment. But I had to have that story to then have a breakdown and a breakthrough. And now I get to bring people over to this side as well. I like to say, live your aligned and authentic act 2, even though you have a successful act 1. Like you described the men earlier that I coach, they are very successful in their act 1, but there is an authentic act 2 that is still in them. And that's what I want to help bring out, because that's what I was able to do. So Elvira at her core is someone who wants to serve the world, to help to create this vision of an aligned, authentic, fully self-expressed world, because I believe it could be heaven on earth. So that's who I am at my core.
Bellissimo. Love that. Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank
Now,
you.
tell us, what
I
makes
love
you
your
happy?
Italian accent. Oh my God. I could listen to you talk Italian all day.
We have an expression. I grew up in the south of France. We have an expression that says, especially when it comes to speaking Spanish, say I speak like a Spanish cow. So probably when I speak Italian, I speak like a Spanish cow. You know what I mean?
You grew up in the south of France? No way. Whereabouts?
Yes.
Where?
The French Basque country, Pau.
No
Do you know
way.
Bordeaux? Do you know Lourdes?
Yes. Okay.
25 kilometers from Lourdes, between Bordeaux and Toulouse.
Oh my gosh, how cool is that? So you speak
Yes.
French perfectly.
French is my first language. Yes. I
Oh
speak
my
six
gosh.
languages. Yes.
No, oh, you're a polyglot, and I bow down to your greatness. I am
Thank you.
trilingual. Well, sort of French. Italian is perfect. English is perfect, I hope. But yeah, I love that you speak 6 languages. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
But you speak
Anyway,
another language. You speak another language too.
well, Italian's my first language. I was born in Italy. We came to Canada when I was 5, so it's my first language. English, I learned within a month once we got to Canada, and then French we learned in school. So I was pretty good at French because it's very similar to Italian.
But there's another one that you forgot to mention. You speak the language of hands, you know, the Italians, you
Yes.
know.
Parlo con le mani. Yes.
See, something funny, very quick. I will share with you. I have a good friend of mine. He lives in Switzerland, and Switzerland they speak 5 languages.
Oh my
So we
God.
first
Yeah.
started speaking in French and in English. For an hour, we spoke in French and English just normally. And then as soon as we switched to Italian, I swear to you, I swear on God, within 10 seconds, we're already using the hands, you know. I mean, both of us were laughing so hard. We spoke for
It's
an hour and a
true. You
half
need
in
to see.
English and French, just normal. Not even once the hand came on the screen. And as I started switching to Italian, but che
Oh.
cazzo, you know.
That's hilarious. I love it. I love it. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
man. So see, that makes me happy. That makes me smile. But again, this is not about me. It's about you. You're the star of the show. So let's switch back
Oh,
to you,
you're so
Elvira.
sweet.
So, what makes you smile?
Oh, you make me smile.
Thank you.
I'm smiling right now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So many things make me smile. I'll be honest with you, Payman. I choose joy daily. Like that is my go-to. That is my default is joy. If I'm not joyful, there's something that's out of alignment. And then I work on that and I get back into my joy zone. Right. So this is what I call my miracle magnet zone. You know, your aligned, authentic, fully self-expressed zone. There's joy, there's love, there's peace, there's gratitude, there's community, there's laughter, there's all sorts of beautiful things in that zone. And that's where I live daily. I choose it daily because trust me, the alternative is not pretty. I
Oh yeah,
choose to be.
totally, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what makes you come alive?
Oh, ooh, that's the same zone. So what makes me come alive is when I'm around people who get it, people who know why they're here and are doing it. When I'm surrounded by people that may have had struggles but have gotten through and they know they're here for more, I just get so excited because I love witnessing people in their zone of joy, the zone of genius. And I like to tell people, if it ain't your joy or your genius, it ain't your job. So I really want us all to live in our joy and genius zone because we can outsource everything that's not in our joy and genius zone. There is someone on the planet that loves to do the things that are not in your joy and genius zone. You know, I have no interest going over my books and figuring out my accounting, but my bookkeeper loves books and my accountant loves to do my taxes, right? So, we need to outsource the things that we don't absolutely love, because if we're doing things we don't absolutely love, in general, obviously there's a few things we have to do that, we don't absolutely love. But in general, if we're not doing things we absolutely love, we're going to lower our vibration. And when we lower our vibration, we start attracting crap, or as I like to call it, we become crap magnets when we live in a low vibration. We need to choose to live in a high vibration where we are miracle magnets, right? We just naturally attract all the great things that we desire and deserve, quite frankly. And this is what doing the inner work is all about, right? It's about clearing away all the crap that's not you, doing your healing and evolving. And then you get to live in your greatness, right? So this is what lights me up.
Love that. Love that. Now, conversely, what makes you sad and angry?
People that live not realizing their potential, people that live in victimhood. That was me for many, many years. People that are not open to being more, to doing more. I have compassion for them, but it also makes me sad. So I really believe that We're all capable of living our dreams. We're all capable of getting out of our own effing way, fear and ego, and living our truth. And it makes me sad when I'm around people that don't get that. So yeah, that's what makes me sad.
Love that. Now, what scares you?
Oh my God. Wow. Not a lot. I've been through a lot, and I don't scare easily. I'll be honest with you. What used to scare me is thinking that I would die with my real music still in me, not having been fully self-expressed. That used to scare me. And I'll tell you now, it's just not an option, because I know that I'm doing all the right things. So that's not going to happen. I have absolute faith that I'm here for a reason. And I've got some big things happening. Like I shared with you my vision of the world. Well, my mission has 3 levels, and we're going to get to that vision on these 3 levels. And I used to think, oh my God, what if it doesn't happen? What if it doesn't happen? That used to scare me. But now there's a plan in place and it's happening. So very little scares me, I'll be honest. But you know what? If I'm thinking about it a little more now as I'm talking to you, people that I love struggling and not getting it, not awakening in this lifetime. Again, it's connected to what, makes me sad. I do have family members that don't get this, don't get what I'm doing. They look at me like I have 3 heads, and you know what, that scares me, that they're going to die with their real music still in them. But here's the thing. I also, say that, and in the same breath, I will say they're on their own journey. It's not up to me to determine, where they choose to go in this lifetime. Where our souls are all here, for this lifetime, for certain reasons, to learn certain things, and then they move on, and not everybody is meant to awake in this lifetime, right? So, there used to be a lot more fear in my life, and there's a lot less. So did I answer that okay?
Wonderfully, beautifully.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. I agree with you, because we're all here I see life as a school, to learn lessons, as a buffet. We have to try a little bit of everything.
Yes.
So that ultimately we all, get to the next level. I was having this conversation about a week ago with my sister over my birthday 2 weeks ago, and she said something beautiful.
Happy belated. Yes.
Thank you. Grazie. She said something along those lines that, we all, on our own personal path. Some of us may be, say, a couple of steps ahead. Some of us might be a couple of steps behind. There's no need to try to force or push or try to, anyone else. Let them be on their own journey. Let them reach there. Everyone is going to get there at their own time and their own pace. Because if you try to push someone or force someone, you're going to lose them, because human nature, whenever you tell them to do something or not do something, they want to do the opposite. And it's not going to help. Just like one of the reasons in business, for example, I used to, one of the advice we always get is like, you have to be, consistently, just going after people, following up and all that. But, over the years, I noticed that might work for some people, but as I started to getting more and more, spiritual awakening, I said, that's not the way for me. I let my information out there. When someone is ready, they will come to me. I have had clients come to me after 2-3 years. I completely forgot about them, and they just called me and say, hey, listen, I'm ready to join. Where do I send the money? I said, okay, there you go. It's not about pushing someone. It's about, let them with information, let them make the decision, because it's they're on their own journey. Nobody can force them or, to get out of their journey, because they're not at that spot at that time. Because everything that happens in our life, everybody that we meet them for a reason and at the right time.
Right.
When they're meant to be, when something is meant to happen, someone you're meant to meet, that's going to happen. We don't need to force it. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. And I learned that with my own eyes over the past year and a half. And it's just like you said, it's a miracle when you realize that.
Yeah, it's true. When you let go and surrender to life and how it's unfolding and the perfection of the universe, it's quite astounding. Like there's an expression, I'm probably going to say it wrong, but it goes like this. It's like the Buddha said that, when you realize how absolutely perfect everything is, you will throw your head up and laugh at the sky, and I get chills saying that, because it's all so perfect, and we can't force another person's journey. We can hold space for them to get it if they're meant to, and maybe their soul is meant to only go so far in this lifetime, but maybe in the next lifetime they'll go further, and then the next time, further, or maybe they'll get it all in the next lifetime, and then they'll end up, we all end up in nirvana. I don't believe there's a hell. I believe there's a nirvana, which is heaven, and our souls all end up there. And I used to be Catholic, but I don't identify as Catholic anymore because I don't believe those beliefs. In fact, when I was at my rock bottom and I wanted to die, the Catholic teachings did not save my life, and none of the other personal development I did save my life. I got a new system, and that's what I'm sharing with the world now. And there's so much wisdom in it, and it's more Eastern wisdom than the Western Catholicism wisdom. And it's really, about our souls evolving. The Catholics don't believe in that, right? They believe you die and you go to hell or heaven or purgatory or whatever. And I just don't resonate with that. It just doesn't feel right in my heart and soul. Yeah. So I really believe we're all here on journeys. We can't judge another, lest we be judged. Let's not judge lest we be judged. And, we got to trust that our higher power, our source, our God, universe, creator has our back, and we're all here for a reason, and we're meant to go through this life for, whatever teachings we're meant to have. In fact, there's a great movie, Payman. Have you ever seen the movie Groundhog Day?
Sounds familiar.
With Bill Murray. Okay. So it's a movie about Groundhog Day is February 2nd, right? And he goes into town and he does this story around the groundhog, right? The groundhog that, lifts his head on February 2nd, Groundhog Day, and tells you whether it's early spring or a late spring. Anyway, it's a funny movie because this guy is such an asshole at the beginning of the movie. He starts off as this totally narcissistic, awful person, but he goes through the same day over and over and over. Every single day he wakes up, it's the same day. He gets to go through it again. It's almost like he's going through another lifetime, and he learns better ways of showing up. And he doesn't get it quite right, for I don't know how many days he goes through the same day, February 2nd. And he does it maybe like 10 times in the movie. But as he goes through each day, he gets more and more angelic. He becomes like Mother Teresa, the last day where he has an absolutely perfect day of helping people, of living his passion, of living with joy. Oh my God, I'm going to start to cry. Having this absolutely perfect day. He goes to bed, and the next day he wakes up and it's February 3rd. He actually, he moved on because he got it right, So I feel that this is a movie that explains how our souls, are meant to go through this lifetime and maybe other lifetimes to get it right, learn the lessons we need to learn so that we become the people we're meant to be, to serve the world, right? We're all here to serve the world, whether it's a small thing or a big thing, but I believe we're all here to serve the world and get out of our own effing way, fear and ego, we're here to serve humbly yet fiercely. This is what I truly believe. Yeah.
I love that. That's a perfect metaphor. Absolutely. Wonderful. Now, what would you say is your personal superpower? I know you have many superpowers, but what would be your number one, your superpower?
Oh my gosh. So what I'm being guided to share with you right now is, like, first of all, helping people to live in this zone. I think that's one of my superpowers. I call it your vibration of authentic power. And it's not ego power. It's working with your authentic source. You and source are a team, right? So I help people live in this zone where it's effortless. Like things you become a miracle magnet. You just attract all the people, situations, things that you need. It's not about pushing and hustling. It's about receiving and being in flow, right? There's hustle and there's flow. I help people to live in that flow state. But the thing that just came to me as well, because I'm being like, as I said, flow, people are finding me. I've got these two amazing world-class producers and sound engineers and and musicians that are wanting to produce me in a podcast and as a sacred sound healer. One of them is putting me on a vinyl album. He's this, I call him a soundaholic. He's amazing. So their names, I just want to give a shout out to them, is Steve Danko and Amir Hassan. And we're actually meeting tonight to do our very first podcast episode. Wow. And they're passionate about helping people to heal with sound and music. That's what these guys are all about. And they're world-class level. And they were just attracted to me. Like I found them magically, right? So I became a professional jazz singer, not just to be on a stage and say, hey, look at me, I'm the singer, I'm all that and a bag of chips, which is very typical in the jazz world. And it's ego, right? But I became a singer because I've been helping people heal from their stage for many years. People will come up to me after one of my shows and they're crying and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, Elvira, I can't believe you did that song. It was my mother's favorite. I didn't realize that I was still grieving her. And now I feel so much peace. And I'm like, cool, So like this has happened for years. And then within the last 2 years, I actually learned how to be a sacred sound healer. I worked with a world-class sacred sound healer teacher. He calls himself a what is the name he uses? There's different names, but his name is Darren Austin Hall. He's a druid. He's a shamanic musician. He teaches people how to play the sound bowls. He teaches them how to vocalize so that people can heal with the voice and with the bowls, with the other instruments. So I think I'm really good at being a sacred sound healer. People have told me, Elvira, I can't meditate, but when I'm in one of your sound baths, my mind is empty and I'm able to meditate. And they say things like, Elvira, I had the best sleep of my life after one of your sound baths. So I know that my voice is not just here to entertain and hopefully show people it's never too late for them as well, because I became a professional jazz singer at 51. I'm 59 right now. I've only been doing it 8 years,
Wow.
but I've reached some really nice levels of, for example, being asked to sing at the mayor of Mississauga's 60th birthday last year, right? I was chosen over every other Mississauga musician, people that are way more talented than me, people that are way more known than me. But I believe that I was chosen, and my partner, Mark, and it was our very first gig. We're a brand new duo. I believe we were chosen because our mayor picked up alignment in us. Our mayor picked up that we were doing this from a very fierce yet humble place. And she is all about service because she's a mayor. So I believe that that's why she invited us, right? So, it's never too late to do something that's inside. So that's one of my key messages. As long as you do it from a place of service, not from ego. It's not about you. You were given this gift so that you could develop it and serve the world with it. So right now I'm serving the world with my voice, with my sacred sound bowls. So does that answer your question?
Beyond that, I love that. I'm totally with you on that, because when I made the switch in my life from chasing money and profits to pursuing, impact, my life changed. I became a different person. I had a spiritual awakening. And then I've connected to incredible people. I mean, me and you, I can bet you anything, would not have connected if I was still building a business for the sake of making money, because I got into this community and all that. And it's just like a little, step by step that someone connects you to this, and then you meet someone else. So and not only just you, but many other people at the highest level, I get contacted by multiple New York Times bestsellers, people that work directly with some of the 1%, and absolutely incredible. I mean, I would have never connected with these people if I was still, on the old path of just, the materialist life. I never was materialistic, always was, the kind of guy that preferred to be, I want to be rich in experiences, not rich in material things, because I've played it all. The corporate route, everything, you name it, I did it, but I was empty. So, but I started pursuing impact. That's when I became I read a quote last year, still in my mind. It says, the two most important days in our lives are one, when you're born, and two, when you realize why you're here. When I realized that, I said, wow, that makes so much sense. So, but anyways, that's not about me. So let's get back to you.
No, it is about you. I love hearing about you. And I love that, you had that awakening. And so to me, it's sad when people, will never awaken in this lifetime, that people that I just adore, that won't. But again, like I said, I can't judge it. There was a time when I did judge it. And I was very, I held back a lot because it was like, why aren't they waking up? But then I realized, who the hell am I to judge? And they're on their own path. And now there's so much more peace because there's surrender, right? And we, I love what you said there, Payman. I'm so grateful we're connected.
Thank you. Absolutely. Now let's move forward. I mean, we can talk, we can do an entire season. Me and you, we have so much common, so much we can share, but
Let's do
let's keep,
it.
let's keep,
The
well, be
Payment
careful.
Elvira show. Woohoo!
Be careful what you ask for, you know?
I'm there. I'm there. I've got like a second podcast happening tonight starting. So who knows? I've
Wow.
also got a first one as well. But anyway.
All right. Okay. So now let's move a little bit forward. I know you like traveling, right?
I do.
I'll take you now on a travel, on a trip down memory line.
Okay.
To where, you know, when we were kids growing up, parents, teachers, friends, they all ask us, and you answered it in a way, a part of it says, so Elvira, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer back then?
Oh my gosh. That is a great question, Payman.
Thank you.
I think, it changed a lot, but there was a time when
What was your youngest memories of you
youngest
when you were asked?
memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is my youngest memory of what I actually did. I wrote a book when I was in grade 1 and it got put in the library. I was 6 years old and I wrote this book, something about a cat. I forget. I don't think my mother saved it, or maybe the library still has it, but it was amazing because I remember writing this book and the teacher felt it was good enough to be in the library. So I think I was really inspired. And today I love writing. I'm always channeling, new messages and getting them out on I have this thing called Fab Friday. People can sign up for. It's a free, it goes onto my blog after I send it out on Fridays to my tribe. And and so it was probably like a writer, a teacher, because I was interested in helping people to grow and if I can make, people smile, but honestly, it was more about, sorry, I'm processing as I'm talking to you, but as an 11-year-old, I wanted to be a performance artist. I wanted to be a singer, a dancer, an actor, right? So I just wanted to see people smile. Like I remember one of my youngest memories was being in front of, so I don't believe we have to be one thing, I'm
No.
multi-talented, multi-passionate.
Totally.
And we need to be fully self-expressed, right? I'm also a jewelry designer, by the way. I did, jewelry when I was a little girl too. But I remember being in front of my family and friends when I was 8 years old, and I sang a little song that was really hot on the charts at that time. It was called Stoned in Love with You. I think it was the Stylistics. This is showing how old I am. Well, I said how old I am, 59. But if anybody in the audience can remember
That's
this
young.
song. Yeah, you're so sweet. But anyways, I remember just singing this song from my heart and seeing the smiles on their faces and thinking, this is what I'm meant to be doing. Like even at 8 years old, I remember looking at my uncle who had this big smile, and it was like, I just felt like just in heaven. Like I felt so valued, and I felt like, I love this. I could do this like all the time. Right. So that's probably what it was. But I said different things at different times. And I was the people pleaser too. I said things that people wanted to hear. Like my parents wanted me to be a doctor. So for a while there, I wanted to be a doctor. Right. So it's like, but I think who I truly was in my heart and soul was I was an artist, and I was a performance artist. And yeah.
Do you think that a doctor can be an artistic doctor?
An artistic doctor. Well, I am an artistic healer. I actually help people heal with my sound, right? And even on stage singing jazz, I've helped people heal there. And my jewelry is all sound healing and Reiki healing blessed. So I help people heal with my jewelry. So yeah, I'm an artistic healer. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I don't talk about that too often. Yeah.
I love that. Wow.
Yeah.
So at the end, I wanted to ask you for the website, all your links, especially the link you're selling your jewelry and all that, because I mean that's beautiful. But anyways, let's I want to keep you again into when you were a kid. So when you were a kid, what was your favorite subject in school?
I'll tell you what it wasn't. Math. I wanted to throw up before doing math.
That was my next question, but okay, that's fine.
The irony is that my son is a math scholar. He went to University of Waterloo and
Wow.
studied computer science. So he was part of the math faculty. My kiddo's 26. He works at Shopify, has an amazing job. Anyway,
Wow.
but I was crappy at it. I say like my kiddo took every single math gene I ever had. So anyway, I jest, but my favorite subject, oh my gosh. I was really good at languages like Italian and French. So languages came easy to me. My God, I don't know if I had a favorite subject. Oh my gosh. I mean, I wasn't allowed to do the arts because my parents, they wanted me to be a doctor. So I wasn't allowed to do anything artistic. I remember being very jealous of my friends that got to do, drama class and be on the stage. Oh, I was so jealous of them. I wasn't allowed to do it. So that would have been my favorite class had I been allowed to do it. I would probably say languages. Yeah.
I'm exactly the same. I couldn't stand math, and I loved languages and geography, history, sports. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, let's move forward. Looking back from the time you left school to now, let's look at your path. How would you describe your path? Would you say once you get into one lane, was it straight sailing, smooth forward? Was it like, turns and twists, lots of, like a roller coaster?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I feel this is the time where I really should mention that when I was 11 years old, I went to a jazz show. I went to this cabaret show and I saw the women on the stage that were total goddesses to me. They were singing and dancing and acting, and they had gorgeous hair and makeup and clothing. And I was this fat little Italian kid in the audience. I was the only kid in the audience. Okay. I don't know why I was there. My father worked in the restaurant downstairs. So he either stuck me there for the night because he had to work, or I insisted on going to this show because I love singing and dancing my whole life. So I don't know which one it was, but I was in this jazz show and I was in total awe of these women. And after the show was over, my dad said, "Do you want to meet them?" And I'm like, "Oh, I can meet these goddesses." So he brings me backstage because he knew them. He worked downstairs. They were upstairs. And he introduces me to them. And they're like, "Joe, this is your daughter. She's so beautiful." Meanwhile, I'm a fat little Italian kid. I did not feel very beautiful, but they were kind enough to truly see me. I felt seen for the first time. I felt like these women knew that I was them, just a few years behind. And that transformed me that night. So I walked away with my father and I looked at him with stars in my eyes. Now, remember, my father, no, not remember, I'm going to tell you now, my father could sing like Pavarotti, but he never did anything with his voice. His sister was an opera singer, but when she traveled on world-class opera stages, but when she got married, she had to hang up her opera gown, put on an apron, and never sang again. So in their family, the thinking was that good people are not artists. Good people are good mothers and fathers and providers, take care of their children, have steady jobs. Okay. So this is what the messaging that they got, right? So as soon as I told my father I wanted to be one of those women on stage, well, I already told you what he said. He said, "Elvira, you can't be one of those women on stage because those women are sluts." And that was it, because his family mindset was that good people are not on stages. That was I call it the stinking thinking. That was the, ancestral, baggage that they carried. And therefore my dad tried to put it on me. So here's what I said as a little 11-year-old. I said, "Okay, Daddy, I'm not allowed to be who I want to be. Who do you need me to be so you will love me?" And that is when I tapped into what they truly wanted for me. That is when I became a people pleaser, an imposter. I lived out of alignment, and I chose not one, but 2 healthcare careers. First, I worked as a lab technologist at Princess Margaret Hospital in cancer research. I wanted to slit my wrists after 7 years of that. I got plucked out of that to do pharmaceutical sales for 20 years. And I did that, somewhat happily. I made really good money. I had a car, an expense account. I looked shiny on the outside, but on the inside, I was hollow, just like you talked about when you were at corporate. I was hollow. And yet people thought that I was happy because I was always smiling, right? And so I hid behind a smile. That was my ego mask, right? So, but thankfully, I had a blessed breakdown my last 2 years of corporate, where I was being bullied corporately. I attracted another bully socially, and I went into a dark place of depression, anxiety, and panic disorder that I hit a rock bottom surrender where I said to my higher power, give me a way out of my hell. That's not drugs. That's not therapy. And no disrespect to anybody that takes drugs and therapy for their mental health, but it wasn't an option for me. You see, my father lived out of alignment too, because he was a world-class singer that never got to be fully self-expressed. This is why I want to serve men to be fully self-expressed. My father had a nervous breakdown when he was bullied in his 50s. There was a mean boy at work and he bullied my father, so my father could never do his job again. He had to go on meds for the rest of his life to deal with that nervous breakdown. Wow. So I knew that my story was not going to end like my dad's. And when I was a new mom, I had mommy issues. I had to go to therapy for 2 years to get over my mommy issues. So I know that therapy works, Payman, but I didn't want to wait that long. So when I hit my rock bottom, and I knew I didn't want to live like that anymore, I literally was like totally surrendered. And I said to my higher power, give me a way out. That's not drugs. That's not therapy, or give me a way of killing myself. So that way that helped me has become a world movement. People are using it to help others, because I was shown, Elvira, it's not just for you. It's natural and fast, and it helps people out of the darkness. And it helped me to create the marriage of my dreams. My marriage used to be hell on wheels when I lived out of alignment from ego. 3 different times we thought it was over. But when I left that inauthentic life to live my truth, our marriage is heaven on earth today. And I became a professional jazz singer at 51, right? Who does that? Well, people do it if they get into alignment. They realize that if it's in them, it needs to come out of them. Because when I became a professional jazz singer, everything in my life got better. So this is why I truly want people to be fully self-expressed, Payman, because when they do that, when they have the courage to become fully themselves, every part of their life gets better. So when you say, your journey, I was supposed to be a doctor. I didn't have the marks to be a doctor. So I became a lab technologist. Then I became a pharmaceutical rep. That made my parents happy, but it's not who I was. Who I was a coach, I was a healer, I was an artist. And today I do all those things and more. And I just don't work a day in my life. And this is what living in alignment feels like, looks like. So I want this for the world, Payman. I truly do.
Love that. So the question I have for you that I ask everyone on my podcast is one that I really enjoy, is that, we go through all these incredible challenges that at the time are really painful, and you went through your fair share of challenges and all that, as you just described. So now looking back at them, would you look at them now as beautiful gifts and in order for you to become who you are? And do you think that without them you would be today on this path, because you had to be out of alignment yourself to understand the really deep pain that this can cause to someone internally? Even though outside they may look amazing, success, but inside they're burning, they're empty to the point of considering committing suicide. But so for you, you had to go through that yourself to really understand the deepest meaning and harm that this can do. So then can you overcome that yourself? So now that could become your mission to go now and teach that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you see that as beautiful gifts for you? And do you see that this is your mission in this life to help people find the real fire inside of them?
Yes, and yes. I truly am grateful for every moment of my shit show, especially those last 2 years of depression, anxiety, and panic disorder. Why? Because guess where I'd still be working right now, Payman, if I hadn't gone through that breakdown?
That pharmaceutical company, I guess.
Exactly. I was making 6 figures. Why would I go? So how grateful am I to those people that bullied me, that forced me to realize that I'm blaming them. I'm being bullied here and here. Who's the common denominator? Me. I brought this on with my vibration. I'm going to undo it with my vibration, which is exactly what I did. And Spirit gave me a system that I didn't make up. I was just meant to be the mouthpiece for it. Because when I hit rock bottom, Tony Robbins' teachings, God bless him, he's a great guy. His teachings didn't work for me anymore. I had done this thing called landmark education. God bless them. Those teachings didn't work for me anymore. I told you I was Catholic. those teachings didn't help me. The only thing that helped me, Payman, was what I got when I hit rock bottom. And that system has become a personal development solution, SOUL, for heart-centered people who don't like the in-your-face approach of Tony Robbins and Landmark Education or the cult of the Catholic Church. I'm sorry, I'm just going to call it as I believe it. It's a cult. So with that being said, how grateful am I to have gone into that darkness? I would go through every single moment of that pain again because of where it got me, because of how I get to serve the world today. It's not about me. My pain serves a purpose, and I am truly living in my zone of genius and joy. And I'm getting chills as I say that to you. And I truly want this for the world, Payman. I want this for the world more than anything.
Absolutely agree with you. And when you said that the Catholic Church is a cult, I believe, the same can be applied to every religion.
Right?
I never was a religious person.
Yes.
But over the past year and a half, I've had a spiritual awakening, and now I see things from a different perspective. And then to come back to what you said, when something bad happens to us, it's not what happens, it's what we make of it. And I learned, just like you mentioned, Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, he always talks about the power of question. At first it sounds nice, but to me, when someone says it's one thing, but when it happens to you, that's when you realize the power of it. Like, for example, I've gone through a lot of hardships in my life. At the time, they were very painful, but now the way I look at, especially the past year after I've had my spiritual awakening and after going through some family tragedy here and all that, now it was a spiritual awakening that allowed me to overcome this without going crazy. It's because instead of asking and playing the victim, why me? What did I do to deserve this? Let's step back, look at it from a spiritual perspective, and ask, what is this trying to teach me? What is the lesson for me to learn in this?
Yes.
And once you do that, you really understand and you treat that not as a curse, but as a blessing, as a gift.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those two people that bullied me, amen to what you just said. I love it. Those two people that bullied me, they were my biggest angels of evolution. They forced me to evolve by hating me and shaming me and making me, a laughing stock at work and socially, humiliating me. They forced me to go deep and do my inner work and connect to who I truly am. For a while, I believed them. They were hating me and shaming me, and I bought into it. I said, I'm a piece of dirt. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. And yet part of me said, but are you actually worthy? And I decided to believe that part. Did I want to believe that I was, this horrible person that they described at work and, socially, or did I want to believe that I was a beautiful child of my creator and I was here for something more? I decided to ask myself some powerful questions. And that is one of the powerful questions I asked myself was, who am I really? I'm actually a beautiful child of my creator. And I learned to do the inner work of healing and evolving. And this is what I teach people how to do today in beautiful communities. It's not facilitated by me. I have people, beautiful souls that are facilitating this work. And we're all about healing and growth to greatness, right? So it's called the Love Your Vibe Transformation. If I can just give it a plug really quick. Personal development solution for heart-centered people, where you do my online course that teaches you all the teachings and tools that were divinely gifted to me, that saved my sanity in my life. But then you get to practice them in a 6-month community where everybody, small community, 8 people and under, where everyone is safe, seen, celebrated, and supported. Because my team and I believe that this is an incubator for healing and growth to greatness, where you practice the teachings and tools, right? Everybody has, there's a lot of personal development systems out there. I would like to think that ours is about to be, or already is maybe, the world's most beloved personal development solution, SOUL, for heart-centered people. So we're the people that we don't like the in-your-face approach because we're sensitive, we're artists, we're healers, we're intuitives, we're empaths, right? We don't want to, be hit in the face with all this harsh personal growth. We want to do it more in the gentle rain soaks approach. And that's what we're doing right now. And it's fast growing because every single person that's gone through it, every single graduate wants to be a facilitator. So What does that tell you, right? And the coolest part is they also get to share their own story, their own message, and their own magic through their own courses on my website. So it's like there's a level A, but then people get to choose to work with one of the mentors in a level B, because things that I can't relate to, they can relate to. So anytime you've gone through something, there's wisdom to share. And that's what my team is about, right? Does that make sense, Payman?
Totally, totally love that. And sometimes it's amazing because I feel that you're reading my mind. You're just making the perfect segues for me for the next thing. And sometimes I wish that maybe I should give the mic to you and you become the host.
You're so cute. I love it.
No, but seriously, you just made a perfect segue to talk about your business. So you mentioned you're very involved in quite a few businesses. So what would you say is the business of all of the business you're in that you're the most passionate about?
Oh my God. I am so passionate about all of them. How do I pick? Well, can I share with you what my mission is? Because it has 3 layers.
Please.
Okay. So the vision, again, just to recap, an aligned, authentic, fully self-expressed world, right? Living from the truth of their heart and soul, not the lies of their ego, right? These are people that have awakened. They are living consciously, right? Some people will call it going from 3D to 5D, right? We don't get that woo-woo about it, but we explain it a little more simply. It's a simple system that more people, I believe, will understand than some of the more advanced systems out there, right? So I've explained it to 8-year-olds and they understand it, right? So I want to see a world where we're all living there. My mission is threefold. The bottom layer is the Love Your Vibe transformation, personal development solution for heart-centered people. Super simple. Doesn't take that long to learn, 2.5 to 3 hours online, but then it's actually living and breathing the teachings in community that causes the real transformation, right? The middle level is I have my elite men's program that you talked about. It's called the Renaissance Man Unleashed. Why be one thing when you can be all things, right? Because the Renaissance man was art and science, arte scienza, right? So it's all about being fully self-expressed. The women's program is called Unleash Your Miracle Life, for very shiny looking professional women who know that there's more still in them. They've had a shiny, maybe inauthentic act 1. They want to go to their authentic act 2 so that they can leave the world a better place with their purpose. So that's what I do at this level. Also, there's my jazz singing, my sound healing, my jewelry design, my speaking and engagements. So that's all the stuff I do personally one-on-one. The top level is really exciting. And if you ask me, that's probably the level I'm most excited about. My husband and I, we survived what most people would not survive in a marriage for a reason. My husband builds hotels from 0 to 100. He runs them. He's got hospitality in his background. We were brought together, and it's a longer story. Maybe you can bring me on your podcast to explain it another day. But in a nutshell, we were guided to co-create a series of 11 global retreat centers to serve the top 1% of the planet, to help them do their inner work of healing and evolving so that they can live authentically, so that they don't have to live from their ego anymore, so that we can help them to create heaven on earth at this level, which is going to get to the rest of the world. So we are bringing them together at these 11 incredible, majestic centers around the world that are about to be built shortly. I've linked arms with some incredible people. There's about 30 of us in this group that have 6-figure coaching programs, 6-figure healing systems that we want to share at this level. Because really, when you think about it, if we help them, Payman, can't we affect the whole world? Because they have gotten aligned, authentic, fully self-expressed. They're not going to be just fighting to get more money and more fame and more followers. They're actually going to be aligned to their bigger purpose, which probably connects to helping the world in some way. We're going to give them the opportunity to work on global projects so that we can actually help with all these different paradigms that need to be shifted on the planet. Global warming, cleaning up the oceans, honor killings in India, clean drinking water for indigenous people. There's so many things that need to be done on the planet. And by bringing them to our centers, we're going to educate them. We're going to inspire them. We're going to help them heal at the highest levels. So I believe we're going to create heaven on earth by helping these people.
Now you're speaking my language because that's something I'm extremely passionate about, building, business with an impact. before the pandemic. My background is e-commerce. Before the pandemic, I was trying to launch a brand of physical products on a crowdfunding platform called Kickstarter. And it was a pair of leather made products. And because I couldn't find anyone to make it because of what's going on, but what I was planning to do was planning to for every pair of every unit of that product I would have sold, I would have given a pair of eyeglasses to someone in need in India. And my goal was not to raise any specific amount of money, but to raise enough money so that I could give to 5,000 people a pair of that product. And that was my goal. So that's something I'm extremely passionate. And I even add, as I told you, I get connected to incredible people. Have you heard of B1G1?
Buy one, give one.
Yes.
Yeah, I just heard about it yesterday, actually. Yes, Tyson's group where we met. Yeah,
I had the co-founder of B1G1, Mr. Paul Dunn, on my podcast about a month ago. He's an Englishman that lives in Australia and now is in Singapore. Incredible human being. Highly recommend. If you have the time to watch it, and if you want, I would be happy to connect you directly to him.
I'd love to. Oh my gosh.
So amazing. And the way that B1G1 was started, absolutely phenomenal story. It's like back in 2007, he had just quit. He was hired by Hewlett Packard to be one of the first people to go and launch Hewlett Packard in Australia back in the day. So when he was there, he was also mentoring young and up and coming, professionals. So at that time, one of his mentors was a Japanese lady, and she asked him one question that changed the course of his life. She asked him, imagine a world that each time business happens, something good occurs. Like each time, for example, you buy a book, someone gets access to education. Each time you buy a cup of coffee, someone gets drink clean water or anything, and so on and so forth. Every time, for example, a company sends an email, something happens. Like, for example, he told me a story that he's using himself for his business as well. Each time he gets on a Zoom call, and God knows we spend most of the day on Zoom calls, 9 kids around the world get access to education. Wow. That's amazing. And the beautiful thing is he has projects around the world that start for as little as 1 penny, 1 cent.
Yes.
So I would love to connect you to him. He's an incredible human being with a beautiful heart. And the two of you can make magic happen.
That's amazing. What's his name?
Paul Dunn, Dunn.
Paul Dunn. Okay, awesome. I will look forward to that. Thank you.
I will send you the link to the episode I did with him. Absolutely phenomenal. We could have spoken for an hours, but I mean, because of time constraint, I was probably one of my favorite conversation, because this man he's at the level of Mother Teresa, if you know what I mean, at that level. Because his company since 2007, they've helped 250 million people worldwide so far. Close to 270 million people. So, and their goal is to reach 1 billion. So, they're getting there. So, and that's what I love to do, to connect people, especially people that are doing good, to allow them to leverage their efforts to, in math. I know me and you, we don't like math, but in math, 1 + 1 = 2. But in real life, especially when the division aligned, 1 + 1 is not 2, but 11. 1 + 1 + 1 is not 3, but 111, because our efforts exponentially explode. And that's what I'm trying to do, to exponentially explode the reach of what every one of us can do, because individually we cannot do much of a big difference, but if we come together, then that's when the magic happens.
Yes. Amen. Amen. I never want to do anything alone for the rest of my life. I mean, other than my offerings I mentioned in the middle, because, a few people do need that one-on-one support, but literally I am all about co-creation and collaboration, not competition. I just want to lock arms with people that are doing, beautiful things in the world. And how can we serve more people? Because 1 + 1 does equal 11. I truly, truly believe that. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Awesome. What would you say in your business and all of your business? What would you say is your ideal client? What's the avatar of your clients?
My clients are people who I call them rock stars, because they've done some incredible things in their lives, but they're still not living in alignment. They're still living from ego, which is looking good on the outside, as opposed to really connecting to their higher self, their soul, and making the bigger difference they were born to make. So, for example, my father, he died with his real music still in him because he never got aligned, authentic, fully self-expressed, right? There's women that I work with that have been like, pharmacists and chiropractors, and they've done really well in this, profession, but they know that there's more in them. So they're kind, heart-centered people, but have not lived fully self-expressed. They have been led by ego because they've been people pleasers. They've given their power away. A lot of the men that, the high-end men's program I have is a six-figure coaching program. I'm just going to say it out front. It's for doctors, it's for dentists, it's for CEOs, it's for any men who have been heart-centered enough, people pleasing enough to look good to their parents, to look good to society, to look good to their spouses. They're driving, the Ferraris, and their wives got the Fendi, shoes and all of that. But they're not doing that bigger thing that's inside them. Is it an album? Is it a screenplay? Is it a book? What is it that they're meant to do? And they're so busy chasing money and looking successful that thing's not getting done. And they could actually die with their real music still in them. So I truly want to lock arms with, I've only got spaces for two of these men per year in my very, very highly bespoke the Renaissance Man Unleashed. So that's who I want to serve at that level. And so if you know anyone, if anyone's watching this, if that's you, connect with me, because I want to serve you so that you don't die with your real music still in you. And, when we live out of alignment, we struggle with mental health. We struggle with physical health. A lot of people develop cancer because their purpose is burning a hole in their soul. Just going to call it like it is. Their marriages are on the rocks, right? Maybe they're having an affair. Maybe their wife is having an affair. Maybe the kids are on drugs. This is what happens when we look shiny, but there's an underbelly that is not very pretty because it's us living out of alignment. I know what that looks like. I know what it looks like to look shiny and struggle with addictions, big and small, and nearly killing my marriage. And it was a shit show for so many years. But I'm the perfect person to lead them to where I am today, where they could go as well, which is living aligned, authentic, and fully self-expressed.
Oh yeah, not just addiction, but also with feeling completely miserable because you're not in alignment, and also because you've seen there, you had to overcome it yourself. Just like I mentioned earlier, you had to go through that yourself to be in total misalignment yourself, to be sure being successful, but yet completely deep down miserable. You had to overcome that, and now you understand those people at a very intimate, deep level that you can really help them. So that's very helpful as well. So in your business, one of the key elements of business is having an irresistible offer. What would you say is your irresistible offer?
Well, I do have a really good one right now that's actually no charge. The value is $350 because I had to put a value. I think it's actually worth more than that. It is actually worth more than that. But I call it a sacred solution session. So you get to work with me for, just under an hour. And I ask you powerful questions to get you clear on what it is that you want, why you want it, what's stopping you from getting there, and what's it costing you, and what's it costing others. So right now, I just started doing these calls. I've filled the 5 spots that I wanted to fill for this quarter, but I'll be honest with you, as I'm talking to you right now, I'm being called to offer a few more of these. So if your people watching this want to reach out and say, Elvira, I am meant to have this session with you, it's no charge. And it's basically getting people clear on what they truly want, why they want it, what is stopping them, and what's the cost, right? So then I can make recommendations on where I think they could go. I have several offers, several, people I know that could support them possibly. Or if there's nothing, if they don't have any money, for example, I can lead them to YouTube videos, right? So I'm not attached to the outcome. I just want to serve them. So right now, I think that's pretty irresistible. Does that make sense? Or do you want an actual paid offer?
No, that's pretty nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
awesome. Love that. All right.
Awesome.
So, and in terms of getting your clients in your businesses, what's your number one game plan on getting your clients? Do you have a team that builds and runs the marketing for you? Do you use attraction marketing, or do you use word of mouth? So, what's your game plan usually in your businesses?
So I am very, very active right now in a coaching group that I'm a part of. I'm part of AG Marishta's program called Activate, and it's a year-long mastermind. And in it, we are learning more and more about getting our message out there in a bigger way. He's the movement maker coach. So he helps people create movements so that it's not quite so much about, push, 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 sell, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. It's about how are you showing up as a leader that people will find you, right? So for example, if Gandhi and Mother Teresa and the Dalai Lama put on a workshop today, do you think that they would have people that would find them?
No, absolutely
Without
not.
them marketing? Yeah, exactly. So because of who they are as leaders, they will attract all the people they need to serve, right? So he's suggesting that we become like mini, Dalai Lamas and Gandhis and Mother Teresas. He wants us to be these kind of inspirational leaders so that people will find us. So we don't have to market as much if that's going on. However, I think there's a balance of both. And I do some networking. That's how I found you, Payman, in Tyson's wonderful group, the Serving Circle on Facebook. It's fabulous. Join if you haven't joined already. And and so what's Tyson's last name? I can't remember. I want to give him a shout
Tyson
out.
Sharp.
Yes, Tyson Sharp. Yeah, he's fabulous. And he is, he's just bringing people together that want to serve, want to give back to the world. And that is how I met you. And I loved your vibe when I saw you. And so I'm connecting, with the right people that I believe we're going to support each other, right? So if I can send someone to you, I will. If you can send someone to me that I meant to serve, then you will. And I think that's how we can do business, where it's more fun that way too, right? So
Totally.
Yeah.
And I shared that with you last time, I think, that we spoke business. I don't know if it was you or someone else that shared whether what do you think about business being a numbers game? And I said, no, that's not me. I used to believe that in my former life, but now as I've had my spiritual awakening, for me, business, and I told you, regardless of the type of business you're in, whether you're a coach, e-commerce, even selling hot dogs and ice cream down the street, we're all in the same business, which is we're in a people business. Business is a relationship business. You have to nurture. You have to. You just don't. For example, you meet someone, you're just not gonna bombard them right away with your pitch and spam, because you're gonna lose them right away. You have to build a business. Is what business is giving the person what they need at the right time that makes sense for them. Not for them just to buy whatever crap, sorry, the word for using that you're selling. If it makes sense for them at the right time and it really helps them, because people don't buy features, they don't buy whatever, how many years you've spent doing that, how much money you've spent, honing that skill. What they buy is the results. So that's what I keep telling when people ask me what business you're in. I say, I'm not in the business of selling. I'm in the business of collecting testimonials and success stories. That's my business.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Yay.
Because and then ultimately it's the testimonials and the result that's going to sell what you have to sell. That's going to be the best marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Thank you. Now, and again, we talked about that earlier, because you're an amazing guest, because you make the transition very smooth with me. Sometimes I feel that I can just send you the question, just sit and just listen and just you answer, because you're born into that. You're a perfect host. So now let's talk about something that is extremely, dear to both my heart and your heart, and that is cause. So you mentioned a few causes, but among all of these causes, what would you say is a cause that you're most passionate about?
I'll tell you what that is. So this work that we do, the Love Your Vibe transformation at this level, it's for heart-centered people. And there is a cost involved. It's not a very high cost, because you're doing it in community. So it's very affordable. However, there's people that can't even afford to do this inner work at the cost that we've put at it. So I am looking to create a Love Your Vibe Foundation for any corporation that wants to cover the cost of this inner work for these people that can't afford it. Let's say it's a group of inner city youth that are being bullied, right? Like I was bullied as a 45-year-old woman. These kids are being bullied in schools, and their parents can't necessarily afford the whole program for them. Well, I'd like to see a corporate sponsor cover the cost for these people. And let's say there's a group of women that have left abusive husbands and they're in shelters right now. Well, I would like to see a corporation cover the cost of 8 women that want to do this work as well. So it's all about, if they can afford a little bit, pay what you can. We want to take your money. We want to give you the dignity of taking your money, but we want a corporate sponsor to cover that cost, to do the inner work so that you don't have to go back to an abusive spouse. You're going to shift your mindset so that you're no longer a crap magnet, right? The kids are going to learn how to take the kick me sign off their back so they don't get bullied anymore. Well, guess what? Eventually, when our business is doing really well at the 11 Global Retreat Center level, my husband and I, we're going to become the foundation. We're going to give the money to the world that wants to do this work that can't afford it. So that's what matters to me, is people doing the inner work. And I'm willing to subsidize it so that the whole world can learn how to love their vibe, live in alignment authentically, and be fully self-expressed.
Love that. Wow. Now, listen, Elvira, we can talk for hours. I love your vibe. We connect at the soul level. Love that. But let's wrap this up. It's been
Sure.
an hour and a half. So let me ask you now some final questions. What would you say has been so far the greatest, the best piece of advice you've received?
Oh my gosh. The best piece of advice I've ever received. I've received so much. I'm going to use one that I've received recently from my coach and mentor, A.G. Marishta. He said, when you make a decision, you punch a hole in the universe, and then you let the universe fill it with the how. You don't need to know the how. You just have to know what it is that you want. And when you decide, the hole is there. The universe is going to fill it. The how is ego. I need to know how it's going to happen. Let go of your ego and be in that place of trust and receive how the universe brings it to you.
Love that. I'm so glad I'm recording this, because I will be rewatching and listening to this myself and taking notes. That's amazing. Now, conversely, what would you say has been the worst piece of advice you received so far?
The worst piece of advice.
Get a job.
Get a job. Yeah. Worst piece of advice. Oh my God. You know what? I can't think of the worst piece of advice. I mean, I've had some horrible shit shows in my life where I've struggled, but then I've come through on the other side. You know what? I am stumped. I can't think of one. I'm so sorry. I just can't answer that,
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Now, since you love traveling, let me take you now on a different type of travel through time. Imagine now that you have a time machine. You can go back in time and sit face to face with an 18-year-old Elvira. What would be the number one piece of advice you would give to her, knowing all that you know now?
You're going to laugh over this one. When I was 18, I had an appendicitis attack when I was at work. I worked for Parks and Rec. I was this outdoor counselor that summer. And I know this is going to sound weird, but instead of calling my parents, I called my boyfriend. He took me to the hospital, and my parents arrived later and said, "Why didn't you call us first?" So I called my boyfriend because I didn't want to worry them. So I would have called my parents as opposed to my boyfriend when I was 18 and I had my appendicitis attack.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would have helped. Well, I think it turned out
and I had
well.
an operation hours later, so they would have liked to have known. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Now, you mentioned you have your own podcast, but now imagine that today on the podcast, you have the most amazing guest in the world, which is yourself. You're interviewing yourself. What would be the number one question you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. What is the first question that comes to your mind?
Oh my God. I would ask, how do you live aligned, authentic, and fully self-expressed? How do you do it?
And what's your answer?
You love your vibe. You love your vibe. Yeah, you learn how to live out of your ego, and you learn to live from your heart and soul and manifest miracles. That's what I would ask.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. What would you say is the one thing you're most grateful for?
Oh my God. I'm grateful for you right now. I love this conversation.
Thank you.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful to my higher power for bringing me here and giving me a purpose that's bigger than me. And I'm able to hold space for people doing this work globally so that they can heal their trauma and evolve to become who they're truly meant to be, and realize that they are not their struggle. They are their higher self, which is actually their divine self. I want the world to see that they are divine.
Love that. Now I want to ask you one question, one of my favorite that I ask everyone. What is the smallest thing you've done that has had the biggest impact in your life so far? And I'll give you my answer, an example. For me, it's been starting this podcast because it's allowed me to connect with an incredible human being, have beautiful conversation, open so many doors, opportunities. I started this about a year ago. Now I'm approaching 100 episode. You're going to be episode number 95. So,
Wow.
So for me, it's been starting this podcast. How about you? What's the smallest, and by small, I don't mean something small, I mean just the one thing you've done that has had the biggest impact so far, positively on both your life and your business?
Wow, you ask
Other,
such powerful,
other,
deep questions.
other than being born, you know?
That was pretty effortless. Oh
On
my
your end,
God.
yes.
You know what small thing has made the biggest impact? Well, a few things come to mind, but I think just being me and allowing people to find me that were meant to find me. For example, tonight I'm going to be starting a new podcast with some world-class producers, and it's effortless. It's effortless. And I know that we're going to make an impact because they want to help the world heal with sound, and they're working at a very high level. And I've just been invited on because this is who I am. And they just naturally came to me because I was just being me. So that's pretty effortless. And I'm excited about where that's going.
Love that. Now, I mean, there's so many questions I want to ask you, but that could turn into like even like a 5-hour show, but we'll do that. Maybe we'll definitely do a
Can
part
I come
2.
another time? Because I actually
Absolutely.
have.
Yes. I'm just finishing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tell us,
Sorry.
if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Fantastic. So I have a website, elvirahopper.com. I have a really nice little freebie on there. You can learn more about my system by grabbing one of the free teachings from my course. And you just have to go to elvirahopper.com. It's right on the landing page. And I'm all my social media handles are there on the website as well. So you can connect with me on Facebook, on Instagram. You can sign up for my Friday. I call it a Fab Friday. I channel a message on Thursday night. I put it in your inbox on Friday, and you can actually hit reply and talk to me directly. So there's all sorts of goodies on my website. I just invite you to go there and poke around and see what you resonate with. Yeah. And I hope you bring me back because I actually have a sacred solution session now at 5:30. So I have 3 minutes to go.
Absolutely. We'll definitely schedule a second one. So listen, Elvira,
Yes.
you're an amazing human being, a wonderful friend. Love your vision, your passion, your energy. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world with all your greatness, with your presence, everything you're doing. Stay safe. God bless, my friend. And until next time, arrivederci. Ciao, ciao.
Arrivederci, bello.
Ciao, ciao.
Grazie.
Grazie,
Ciao
prego.
tutti. Bye, everyone.
Ciao a tutti belli brutti. Ciao, ciao.